Hello everyone! So, it's probably time to continue to work on my RV10 build. New year has come, now we're in 2022 and I'm starting to work on my cabin top. Well, as you know from previous videos, I failed on working on my top console, which not the end of the day yet. I mean, I still have some plans for that. I ordered a new one, but I may be getting my old one redone again. We will see. Anyway, for now I'm starting, and the next step will be to actually start mounting this cabin top to my fuselage. It's gonna take some time drilling, riveting, well, you will see that, right? Before that, I still have to finish some cleaning here, because I have lots of fiberglass dust all around me on everything, like literally everything in this corner of my hangar is in that dust. All parts, all small little parts, everything. So I would like to clean that first, just to safely work without the breathing protective device. And after that I can start to work on my cabin top. So let's start. Alright, so far so good. So it goes well. What I'm working on right now is I'm going to be starting to trim the windshield window. Yeah, so well, basically everything is done until that point right now according to plans, and I installed this support in the middle support. It's interesting, the Vance is asking to put some shim here in this place between the top skin and the support. But in my case, it's already, like, there is already the space, I don't know, because of the weld, of the weld, how it's welded. It's probably not that straight, so I already have some, some gap here, which is accidentally perfectly what Vance is asking for. So we're good on that. I drilled my cabin top. When drilling cabin top, be careful. Make sure it's really perpendicular and straight. I mean, because it's right, the plans are talking about it, that if you're drilling with some little, at least little angle, it can come outside. Well, I mean, it's going to be a different route for the bolt. Obviously, it's going to be longer route for the bolt, and it's not going to be perfectly straight. So it's important. Otherwise, well, I pre-drilled all cabin top mounting, like all those holes across the opening. It's done. So next step, I'm going to start to trim the windshield. I'm going to be trying to put it here, trim it, see the script line. So probably I'll install a table there. Well, again, fiberglass, huh? Anyway, so let's continue to work. So in order to safely and correctly cut the windshield glass, well, plexiglass, we need to don't use a saw. Vance states about that, don't use a saw, you're gonna break it. So I'm gonna be using my cutting disc and vacuum, and of course the face mask. Oh yeah, and eye protection, that's important. So yeah, and the plan is first to cut the bottom part. In my case, the bottom part is marked with the, yeah, this is the bottom part. So I need to cut first my bottom part properly along the script line, and after that install it and mark it. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Alright, so windows trimming is completed. Well, I wouldn't call it a very difficult procedure. The rear side windows trimming is quite easy. I mean, if you use the right tool, the cutting disc, and I use it with the vacuum, so just to avoid all mess around, it's not difficult. I mean, it just fits just perfectly because the actual rear side windows are same. The windshield, the front one, it's a little bit more complex, more complicated. I made it to fit. It fits okay. The only thing I found is that there is a little like gap, uneven gap in, not the gap, but like, well, there is on the cabin top, there is that place where like lip, where the window is going, right? Like this one. So there is some little gap in there, like it's not even everywhere. I don't think it's a big problem because anyway there will be a structural filler after window is glued to the cabin top. There will be definitely structural filler which will close all that gap, and it will be as strong as hell, so I'm not even worried about that. So in general, yeah, it's a little bit messy work. But if you come to it correctly, like with a vacuum, with everything, I didn't find it very difficult. And it took me, well, basically 2 mornings, so maybe 6 hours, 7 hours to trim all windows. So no problem with that. Windows are just fine. Now the next steps are about to install those inserts, like those 5/16 aluminum inserts into the cabin top. For those bolts, like which will be holding the center stud. Yeah, so that's the next step. And what's funny about it is I was just like reading instructions ahead of time, and at some point they're saying that locate the aluminum strip that was set aside on page 10-12, step 1. So basically, when I was working on the tail cone, so very first kit, tail cone, at some point I cut some aluminum strip of the top skin, and now I need to locate it, and basically, I mean, so technically if someone didn't pay attention to that, they would probably just scrap that piece of aluminum, because imagine, it was a long time ago, right? It was a year or even more than a year ago when I was working on a cabin top, on the tail cone. Anyway, but I have it, I found it. It all in dust. And that's the aluminum strip which I actually cut. It was all dusty, all dirty. It was in some like corner under the shelves, but well, thanks God I didn't lose it. So it's important to read every step. Once again, read every step, because sometimes like that little phrase like, okay, put it aside, it doesn't mean scrap it. It means keep it, and keep it until the end. So because like like lots of pieces of aluminum becomes a scrap metal, which like little pieces I usually just recycle, but the large pieces I keep, and this one luckily I kept. So all is good, continuing to work. Alright, so what we have interesting here, so that's original Vance mount for the fuel valve, right? So, well, with little slight modifications, but that's original one. This one is intended to use for mounting of the original Vance fuel switch valve, right? To switch between the tanks or just shut down the fuel line. And, well, the Vance fuel valves, I heard they leaking, I don't know, maybe not, but anyway, I decided to go with an Air one from England, so I bought one from this company, and many of Vans owners buying this one, so that's the configuration I bought, that's the front, that's the back, but the problem is that originally, obviously, it does not fit. Why it does not fit? Well, because the mounting holes does not match well. Even if they do, even after I made some cut here, well, that still doesn't look right to me. So what I made actually is I made a simple aluminum plate Same thickness as this one, so I just use the same thickness, which is 0065, and this one goes underneath like that, so it's basically gonna be like that. And yeah, and I also attached here the AN3 bolt nuts, so nut plates, and yeah, that's basically how it's gonna be in my case. I'm gonna be using 6 rivets to attach those 2 plates together. After that, I'm gonna install my fuel valve from the bottom, and I'm just gonna use the nuts here. The washers, large washers here. But I'm sure double thickness, so it will make its job, and it's gonna be okay. The original bolts which Vance recommends for the other fuel valve are AN4. I guess it's overkill, so I used AN3 because actually the holes here are size 12. And they are for AN3. So that's how it goes, and my plan to install this fuel valve and to connect fuel lines. Alright, so after a few simple manipulations, we got it in place. Primed it, tied it to the proper torque on 3 bolts, and that's it. Let's install it. So now it's a matter of connecting the hoses, aluminum hoses, between the filter, between the fuel tanks in the wings and the switch, this fuel tank switch. So that's how it looks like. Well, not so bad. 6 rivets, 3 bolts, and it should be firm. Yeah, and now we have a next plan. The next plan, while I'm waiting for other parts to arrive, is to make the same air inlets in the back. So basically right in here. Because the idea is that we're going to be taking air here, we're going to be pushing it through the hoses right in here. There will be 2 holes, and it will go onto the overhead panel. So that's the plan now, and for that we're going to just simply make a simple stencil for it, and well, that's it, that's all, that's the plan. So always there are some good and bad news. Well, in my case, what's happening is that unfortunately, my finished kit will be delayed, like many other kits from Vance, unfortunately. And not long time ago, in January, I replied to a thread at Vance Air Force forums, asking about what's the status of the kits and orders, and also emailed to Vance Aircraft and received their reply that, well, no ETAs for now and things will be delayed. So of course I was disappointed, like, because I had my own plans for that. And well, to my surprise, Greg from Vance Aircraft called me on my cell phone, and I had a very interesting and very good conversation with him. Just because right after that they released the videos, so there is no point to repeat all the story, but just in short to say that Vance company greatly depend on their suppliers, because obviously not everything they're able to produce in-house. And many things, especially from finished kit, but I mean that's for every kit, and especially for finished kit, the parts such are engine mounts and some other critical parts are done by contractors. And unfortunately, because of the whole situation, the contractors are out of control. So
It's obviously small contractors, small companies or big companies, but we all, like all business owners, depend on employees. And when we have like pandemic situation, when people are just simply unable to work or got sick, everything got stocked, the orders. And I know that from my business as well. So just recently we got, all my family, we got COVID out of nowhere, probably kids brought from school, so 2 weeks were just crossed out of our lives because we were basically isolated and limited in our abilities. And in my business I also have customers who depend on our products. So that's a chain reaction. So long story short, I had a great conversation with Greg, and he explained me how the situation is. What I want to say is that, well, we're all who order the kits, we're all in the same boat, and we will likely wait for some time before our kits will be shipped to us, will be prepared and shipped. But it's not because of the vans, it's because of the whole situation. There is no way here to find someone specific guilty whom we can blame. It's a situation, it's a chain reaction, and I'm sure that the business owners and people who deal a lot with contractors and subcontractors will understand the situation well. And in a recent video from Vans, it was very clearly explained about the situation. Of course, it's interesting to know when this will happen, but I'm sure that Vans will personally get back to each customer and will provide the specific weight line or ETA for kit arrival. So that's the story. I mean, it's sad, of course, because, well, I was expecting my finished kit and to get it as soon as possible in February, and to get my airplane on the wheels. But you know what? I find some positive moment in this, because I have lots of things which were not done before, which I was planning to do. Okay, I'll put it on the gears, like on the chassis, after that I'll put the wings, and after I'll start to work. But you know what? I'll just now work on avionics more. I will just work on electrical part. I have lots of other things to do. So, well, if it's wait, it's wait. We will see how things gonna go. Obviously that Vans working hard trying to get things on the right track, and that's for sure, and Greg explained me that. They working hard, but there are things which are out of their control, and it's difficult, it's a situation. So, but it's good to know that Vans reads us, that they read forums, they watch videos, and it's really great to know that they respond to customers and they're trying to fix the situation. On another note, so yeah, now as I said, I work more on avionics. I ordered some parts to basically wire the airplane, to put a wiring in the airplane, connectors and everything. It's time, it's probably time. I'll quickly show you something about my avionics, just really quick. Yeah, so that's my simple demo panel, and don't look at the call sign November 111 Hotel. It's just a very great guy from West Coast who shared with me his old panel after upgrade, and thank you very much to him for that. And just using this panel as a simple demo here, because I have lots of people coming in and out of my hangar, my friends here, my other builders, so just to be able to show something. Yeah, so, well, basically about my avionics, things are moving forward. I actually was surprised because many of you who watching my videos wrote me like separate messages or emails saying about, hey Vlad, do you plan to sell your avionics specifically for Vans airplanes? Well, at this point, I'm building my RV10, and yes, I'm planning to install my own avionics. For example, I'm gonna have like those 3 of those touch displays. I'm gonna have some backup of that, some engine monitor and everything. So yeah, I plan to do it specifically for Vans. But until my airplane is done, I cannot really demonstrate you. However, there will be another airplane soon, not also home built, also experimental, but not Vans. It's different. It's a local friend here from Airfield who getting my FIS who's getting my engine monitor. So yeah, that airplane I'll probably show you. That's now the status of my, it's a demo actually going here. So it's the status of my my large FIS. Okay, so that it's able to control the COM radios, because now there is no radio connected, so COM failed obviously. It can control nav radio, COM radio, has a G meter here, has some stuff here obviously. Yeah, so we can go to split screen like that. We have a map. Again, we have engine monitor. We can shut it down from here, and in that case we're just gonna have a like large. So if we go in settings, if we go display config, and if we just my goodness, here, right here, not shown. Okay, yeah, so that's like that. So we can have split screen like that, like large split screen we can have. Now if we go back and turn that on, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we can have it like that. It has a Wi-Fi built in. Currently it can communicate with the Stratux, which is not Stratus but Stratux, over Wi-Fi, and show like the targets, show the information on display here. So we have that large peak, whatever, radar screen, which also is installed here. We have some times here like UTC, blah blah blah, hopes, everything. We can, yeah, we can set our onboard fuel here. I'm just showing what it has, so basically, and yeah, and we have an engine monitor on split screen like that, with some information, with flaps position, trimmers and everything. So that's basically how it looks for right now. So we have engine monitor here, or we can just go whole screen like that. So pretty much standard. This one can act as the as regular, yeah, engine. You can go as engine monitor, or like just like regular AI, whatever you want you can choose here. This one as well can act as engine monitor or as a backup indicator, and this little guy also can do the same. So that's basically it for now. I'm working on it. I'm glad I got a nice knobs here, so I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I got like nice large knobs here, so I'm happy about that. And I got a new knobs for this guy. So yeah, I'm working on it, and slowly I'll be showing you my results. But for now, that's how it is. Avionics is in works in a state of development, designing, and soon you will be able to see it. All right, that's the end of this video. So, well, as I said, I found the way that what to do now while I'm waiting for my finish kit. I have lots of other interesting things to do, and in the next video we will continue to work on this beautiful RV10 airplane. I will be working on, well, looks like on the flaps position sensor, looks like on antennas, wiring and everything else. And yeah, well, thanks God I recovered after COVID, so now it's probably time to discuss with my inspector and to see when we may do my inspection for this airplane, actually, because I'm still have outstanding, which means not done yet, inspection for the pre-cover for my fuselage. And yeah, after that it's going to be a straight way down to finish kit, get it, install everything, install engine, firewall forward, well, name it yourself, lots of things. I see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.